Imagine this: you're sitting in an old classroom, sunlight spilling across wooden desks, and your teacher looks at you with a calm smile that somehow says, "I believe in you." You don't know it then, but years later, you'll realize that moment changed your life forever. Hello everyone, welcome back to Strike Point Media. Please make sure to subscribe and like my videos. It really helps the channel grow and keeps me motivated to bring you more amazing content like this. Today, we're diving into something truly special, The Teacher I Loved, a beautiful English story made for listening practice. But beyond that, it's a story that touches your heart and leaves you thinking deeply about life, relationships, and the people who shape who we become. Whether you're here to improve your English listening skills or to enjoy a soulful story with life lessons, stay with me till the end, because there's a lot more to this story than meets the eye. At first glance, The Teacher I Loved may seem like a simple story about a student and a teacher, but just like a beautifully designed car, there's a lot going on beneath the surface. Let's start with the exterior, the first impression this story gives. From the opening moments, the tone is warm, nostalgic, and relatable. The story is set in a familiar environment, a classroom, filled with that quiet energy of curiosity, dreams, and the unspoken bond between students and their mentor. The exterior of this story feels like a calm morning, bright, peaceful, and comforting. The language is simple yet elegant, crafted in a way that both beginners and fluent listeners can enjoy. Every word feels deliberate, chosen not just to tell a story, but to make you feel it. You can sense the admiration and respect the narrator holds for their teacher, and this emotional connection forms the outer beauty of the narrative. Just like a car that catches your eye with its sleek design and graceful lines, The Teacher I Loved captures your attention with its sincerity, simplicity, and warmth. Now let's open the door and step inside the interior of the story. This is where the real craftsmanship lies. The interior of The Teacher I Loved is richly detailed, filled with emotion, reflection, and human connection. It's not just about learning grammar or listening skills. It's about stepping into someone's memory and feeling their journey from within. The inside of this story feels like a well-designed cabin, spacious, comfortable, and layered with meaning. The teacher in the story represents more than just an educator. They symbolize guidance, patience, and the quiet influence that shapes a person's life long after the lessons are over. Every line of dialogue, every description of the teacher's expressions, and every moment of realization by the student adds depth, much like the textures, stitching, and finishing inside a luxury car. The interior design of the story is built on emotion and clarity. The narrative flows smoothly, allowing listeners to visualize the classroom. The chalkboard, the sound of pages turning, the way the teacher speaks with calm authority and kindness. You can almost feel the sunlight filtering through the window as the teacher smiles, offering both lessons and life advice. This story doesn't rush. It lets you settle in, like sitting in a soft leather seat that supports you perfectly. There's a rhythm to the storytelling that makes you want to stay longer, to keep listening, and to absorb the wisdom hidden in each word. For English learners, the story's interior is particularly impressive. It uses clear pronunciation, natural pauses, and accessible vocabulary, making it a fantastic resource for listening practice while still offering emotional richness. It's like having a car interior that's both luxurious and functional, elegant enough to impress, but practical enough for everyday comfort. As you listen, you start to notice how each layer of the story connects: the student's admiration, the teacher's dedication, and the timeless message about gratitude and growth. The interior also reflects on universal values, respect, kindness, and the impact of good mentorship. The story makes you reflect on your own teachers, those who once believed in you, pushed you to be better, and shaped your journey even when you didn't realize it. That's what gives The Interior of the Teacher I Loved its depth and soul. It's not just a listening exercise. It's an emotional experience that stays with you long after you finish. Now let's move on to performance, because like any masterpiece, this story doesn't just look good or sound good, it performs. The packing of The Teacher I Loved is exceptional. The storyteller's voice is steady, expressive, and perfectly balanced between emotion and clarity. The performance ensures that each sentence lands with meaning. It doesn't rush, nor does it drag. It keeps you engaged from beginning to end. The emotional performance is what gives this story its power. You can feel the gratitude in the narrator's tone, the warmth in their voice when describing the teacher, and the quiet emotion when recalling the lessons learned. It's a performance that connects both the heart and the mind, allowing listeners to not only understand English better, but also to feel human stories deeply. The performance aspect also shines in how it balances simplicity with elegance. Even if you're new to English listening, you can follow the story easily. The pronunciation is crisp, and the tone keeps you attentive. It's almost like driving a well-engineered car, smooth acceleration, easy handling, and a performance that responds to every mood. Whether you're listening casually or studying intently, the story adapts to your pace. It performs flawlessly for learners, educators, and story lovers alike. Next, we come to the safety features, an interesting way to describe how this story protects its audience from confusion or boredom. The structure of The Teacher I Loved ensures that listeners are always comfortable and never lost. The vocabulary is simple but expressive. The grammar is correct but not overly complex, and the transitions between ideas are seamless. The story maintains a sense of emotional safety. There are no sudden shifts or complicated phrases that might overwhelm learners. Instead, it provides reassurance and confidence, helping listeners improve naturally while enjoying a meaningful narrative. It also teaches important moral safety, the kind that protects the heart. The story reminds us that kindness, patience, and gratitude are timeless values that safeguard our humanity. Just as a car's safety systems protect passengers, the lessons in this story protect our minds from negativity and remind us to stay humble, thankful, and compassionate. Now let's look at the unique selling points, the features that make The Teacher I Loved stand out from other listening stories. Firstly, it blends emotional storytelling with educational purpose. Many English listening stories focus solely on vocabulary or grammar, but this one goes beyond that. It tells a story that feels real and relatable, something you can emotionally connect to while also improving your English comprehension. Secondly, the voice quality and narration style are engaging. The calm tone, perfect pronunciation, and emotional expression make it enjoyable to listen to repeatedly. Thirdly, the story carries a universal theme, respect and love for teachers, something everyone can relate to regardless of age, language, or culture. That emotional universality makes it more than just a practice tool. It becomes a shared human experience. Another unique element is the balance between emotional storytelling and clear educational value. You're not just listening passively, you're learning naturally. The repetition of useful words and phrases, the clarity of accent, and the easy-to-follow pace make it perfect for self-study. Plus, it leaves a lasting impression. Even after finishing, you'll remember the feeling of appreciation and warmth the story creates. That emotional aftertaste is what makes it so special, just like how a truly great car leaves you thinking about the drive long after you park it. Now let's talk about price, not in money but in value. The best thing about The Teacher I Loved is that it's freely available for anyone wanting to improve their English or enjoy a meaningful story. In terms of value, it offers far more than any expensive English course or audiobook might. It teaches vocabulary, pronunciation, comprehension, emotional intelligence, and moral values all at once. That's an incredible package of benefits for something so accessible. If you compare it to other English learning materials, this story stands out because it doesn't feel like studying. It feels like living through an experience. The emotional connection enhances memory, making it easier for learners to retain new words and expressions. So, in terms of cost-effectiveness, The Teacher I Loved offers premium value at no price at all, a true deal for anyone serious about improving their English or enriching their mind. And finally, the conclusion. The Teacher I Loved isn't just a story, it's a tribute, a lesson, and a gift. It reminds us that the best teachers are not only those who teach us subjects, but those who shape our character, guide us through our doubts, and leave behind a legacy in our hearts. The story captures that essence beautifully, wrapping emotional depth in simple language and turning a listening exercise into a moving life experience. From its elegant exterior to its emotionally detailed interior, from its flawless performance to its comforting safety, and from its unique educational design to its incredible value, everything about the teacher I loved speaks of quality and purpose. It's the kind of story that makes you pause, reflect, and maybe even reach out to thank a teacher who once made a difference in your life. So if you haven't listened to it yet, I highly recommend you do. Put on your headphones, close your eyes, and let the story take you back to your own classroom memories, the laughter, the lessons, and the love that never fades. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Strike Point Media. Your support helps me continue bringing you the best stories and learning experiences from around the world. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep learning, because every great story, like every great teacher, has the power to change your life.